Hey, um, I'm going to make this one quite brief, but I want to touch on it just to vacuum a few of my feelings on this because today there was a bomb planted in East Belfast under a vehicle. Um, the target was a prison guard, a prison officer. He was believed to be, actually, I should say it doesn't say the gender, but the police officer was believed to be the the target, and they've been left in hospital. No one has died, but the report doesn't say how serious that person's injuries are. So there is a victim in this, because let's not forget when it comes to these sort of acts, just because someone doesn't die doesn't mean there aren't victims. So I hope the officer recovers soon. And yeah, not surprisingly, dissident Republicans are being blamed for this. If you know anything about Northern Ireland, you may know that the main conflict that ended about 10 years ago, just over that, with the Good Friday Agreement, I should say almost 20 years ago now. Incredible to think about it. With the Good Friday Agreement, that was very controversial, and a lot of victims of the Northern Ireland Troubles were angry at Tony Blair for some of the details of that, including the release of convicted killers, basically terrorists who had served on both sides. It has to be said, who had served in some cases just a few years for killing en masse. So that was deeply controversial, and I imagine that when things like that happen, it must rub salt in the wound for those people, again from both sides, who have suffered in the troubles. I haven't been in Northern Ireland for a long time, um, and that's not because I've betrayed the place or anything. It's just the circumstances of my life. I happen to have grown up here, but I can still show concern for my home city, and it saddens and angers me that Belfast is still facing this nonsense years on. You know, I would call them terrorists because that's really what they are, but the reason I'm not going to is because I think it gives them this sense of noble purpose, that they're somehow freedom fighters. They're not freedom fighters, they're callous criminal thugs, and that's all they are. Um, these people are deluded if these sort of actions if they think that these sort of actions are going to get them what they want, which is a united Ireland. And this is the thing, I don't know if they even want that anymore. I don't know if that is even their goal anymore. I believe these people are criminals who are only interested in their own vested power interests. I don't think they're even that bothered about getting in that united Ireland anymore. Um, I was watching a documentary last night on warring tribes in Papua New Guinea. In this case, the two warring tribes had gone to war over a woman 30 years ago, and they got to the point where it was just like both sides are saying, "Oh, they killed my brother, so I have to kill them back," and it's this very primeval, frankly, caveman mindset that is driving whoever was responsible for that attack. I say whoever was responsible because I have to be clear that they haven't at this point admitted responsibility, but it's very difficult to fathom who else it could possibly be, given the track record, given what their agenda is, given the sort of people they usually target. They may say, oh, this wasn't against civilians, but this prison officer was doing his job. He wasn't killing anyone. He wasn't. For them to say that this is somehow self defense or an act of fighting for freedom is beyond moronic. Um, and it's not as if they take care where they place their bombs. So it's a real possibility that civilians could be walking past on the pavement and got caught up in this. So let's make no mistake about it. These people are callous thugs, and I'm sick and tired of some on the Republican side trying to find excuses for them. It is true that they don't have mainstream support, but there's still too many people who want to make excuses for them, and that is a disgrace. It's an utter disgrace. It's a bit like some people in Muslim communities who want to make excuses for going to fight ISIS. They're the minority, but they're a vocal minority. So I think there needs to be a cultural change. I think people who justify this need to be shamed. It needs to be a taboo because any public acceptance of this will only fuel them continue to do it. And I again emphasize it is only a very small minority of people who likely support them. The truth is, most Republicans, and I'm talking here in the Irish context of wanting a united Ireland, they probably have strong views on wanting a united Ireland, but I suspect a long time ago they realised that this violent approach wasn't going to get them what they want, because the United Kingdom is not a country that basically allows itself to be walked over by terrorism. So that approach will not work. It just won't. Um, that's the common sense side of things, and the moral side of things is they're killers. That's what they are. There's nothing noble about what these guys are doing. They are killers. They're thugs, and that's all there is to it. Maybe in their communities they keep a check on drug dealers and so on, but it's like replacing one sort of criminal with another, and they rule like the Taliban insofar as I'm not talking about women's rights and gay rights and that sort of thing. In terms of the cast iron control they try and have on their communities. Um, so yeah, they basically disgust me, and they should disgust any reasonable person. To be honest, this shouldn't even be about unionists and nationalists. Okay, you may be sitting there and you're for a united Ireland and you're disagreeing with my position in that, but at the very least, I would hope that you would condemn this and you would recognise it's not going to get them anywhere. It's utterly pathetic, and it's I just hope that the I support the police 100% in apprehending these thugs, and this time there shouldn't be any get out of jail early clause because of goodwill from both sides or anything like that. Throw them away. They're criminals, and they should be given the exact same sentence as a private person who has some grievance, would get if they tried to kill someone. Um, Throw them away. They're not heroes, they're criminals, and that's the bottom line.